And you can find Cashmere Red there, right down on Main Street in Telluride. That's khaki. She built that store from the ground up, folks. She's a local. So go in there and get yourself some nice cashmere for you or your loved ones. Speaking of nice things for you or your loved ones, Sarah Gluckstern is here from TAB, from the Telluride AIDS Benefit. You are now the director of the Telluride AIDS Benefit. What's your official title?
Executive Director.
ED.
ED.
The big one.
Yep.
All right. But before we get to this, and before we talk about TAB this year and everything like that, I want to go way back, even before TAB. Let's go when you were a glint in your parents' eye. Sarah Gluckstern, how did you come to be in Telluride, of Telluride?
It was, take yourself back to 1980, summer of 1980, and my dad accepted the position of superintendent of schools here in Telluride after like a 5-year history with the town. And when my parents moved in the summer, it turned out my mom was pregnant, and then I appeared, actually, tomorrow's my birthday. So
Happy birthday.
38 years ago, I popped into Telluride.
And we're almost born on Dallas Divide.
As many people might have heard on the down low.
That's right.
Yes, I was almost born on Dallas Divide.
That's right.
My parents have been coming and going from Telluride since 1976. And the same thing happened for me once I was born. It was really like our home base because we moved a lot.
And there's something that it was also revealed in that story, which I happen to know because we're friends, but was revealed in that story. The end of that story is that you live.
Yes, I live in the same house that my parents were renting when I was born here, but it wasn't like they owned it that whole time. Like it continued to be a rental for 35 more years, and then through a very serendipitous sequence of events, I was alerted to the fact that it was on the market, and we just acted fast. And
how crazy is that, right, folks?
I get to live there now.
Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
You get to live in an amazing house in an amazing place. And now you, and finally, I would have to say, you get to do an amazing thing, which you are heavily connected to because, of course, the Telluride AIDS Benefit began in 1994. 1995 was the first one. And it was Robert and Candy DeGraw and sort of a host of other people. Robert Presley at the time, right, had HIV, and that turned into AIDS, and he was getting treatment for it, and it was something to the effect of he couldn't pay for treatment or something like that, right?
Yeah, my understanding of it is that in the early 90s, he had full-blown AIDS, and he was trying to keep up with paying for medication, and his friends said, we want to do this thing for you to help you pay for your medications and your, other care. And he said, thank you, but I think the money would be better spent supporting this organization called the Western Colorado AIDS Project. WestCap, who have been helping me through this process and are the only organization on the Western Slope serving people living with AIDS. Yeah. And they went out, they did the benefit, they gave all their money to WestCap, and WestCap is still a beneficiary of TABS today.
Raised $12,000 that first year, right?
I believe so.
According to
10 or 12.
Yeah, according to the website, like $12,000, right? And that thing you were talking about that they were doing was the AIDS benefit for the first year. Robert, or the fashion show anyway, Robert was a designer. So he designed all sorts of weird things. That first one, he designed a line of inflatable pool toys. But over the years, he's designed all these crazy outfits. And now you honor him every year with a line in the fashion show that is...
wearable art.
Yeah, yes. Wearable art. So everything from trash bags to body paint to all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, every year Kathleen Morgan is our wearable art goddess, and she chooses a different material or theme for every year. So this year the theme is metallics. I'm very excited to see what our artists have created. Oh yes, I'm very excited to see the whole thing. Katie Parnello is back, who did 4 or 5 shows? She said just the other night, she directed 6 shows, and she choreographed 2. There you go. So 8 years in a row she was... I was in a bunch of those shows. It was really great. She's a fantastic director, and she brought in Jamie J, who from New York, who everybody loves. Go give Jamie a hug. He loves hugs if you see him. And he's a great choreographer, and they've been doing some of the New York shows together. And so the Power Team is back, and they're doing this new one. We talked to them, so I'm not going to ask you too much about the show because you may not even have seen a lot of stuff. Yeah, truthfully, next week will be the sort of unveiling from my
Yes.
perspective.
Yes. And so we have the Thursday, which is the sneak peek, and then the Saturday show. But tell me a little bit about, because I don't think people know exactly, where is the money going to?
So the money we raise goes to 6 beneficiary organizations, 4 of which are in Colorado and 2 of which are in Africa. And they all sort of have come at the HIV epidemic in their own unique ways. So we have Brother Jeff in Denver, who works in the 5 Points neighborhood and is really like a true grassroots, like community organizing kind of organization. Then you have the Children's Hospital Immunodeficiency Program, which is at Children's Hospital in Denver, and that's obviously part of an enormous like umbrella organization. So, and they work with children and parents of children who are affected by HIV. Then you've got WestCap, who is the original beneficiary, and they help link people to service. They also do needle exchanges and harm reduction. Anyways, there's a whole variety. So it's coming at the problem from a lot of different angles.
And they're going to be here too. A lot of them have send representatives, right? Like Brother Jeff comes and
yeah, actually, all of our beneficiaries will have representatives here,
Great.
Founders or staff people.
So if you come to the AIDS benefit and you want to give a little bit in the auction or anything like that, but then you also want to give to a specific organization, all those folks are there that you could talk to. You guys also have you give out we work with the Med Center to give out free HIV tests, right?
Yep, you can get a free HIV test year-round at the Telluride Medical Center. We've also expanded our testing reach to include the Uncompahgre Medical Center in Norwood. We also support the Moab Free Clinic, as well as the Red Ribbon Project in Vail/Eagle.
And you guys have been really great. You even went to the mountain school and did some sex education this year, which is really...
Yes.
Yeah, which I'm sure was, it was what it was, but...
Hopefully it'll continue.
Yeah, I hope so too. But how is it, the last question I have to ask you is, how is it sort of, you have this insane arc here, just being a local who was, of course, who was sort of conceived here and born here and all those kind of things. Now you've come back to town, and now this is really a passion project for you on a lot of levels, because you knew some of these folks who actually have passed away from the disease and who have been part of the community for all these years. So how is it being given the mantle?
It is a great honor, honestly, without sounding too cheesy about it. It really feels like things came full circle for me. I had been in the HIV field for like exactly 20 years when I got promoted to executive director. It feels perfect. It is occasionally very hard, but that's all part of the gig.
Yep.
And I'm loving it, and I'm so excited for the big nights next week.
Well, I hope that you don't have too many more sleepless nights dreaming about lodging and where to put everybody. Ladies and gents, if you see Sarah on the street, please thank her. Go to the AIDS benefit. It will sell out, so go online, get your tickets, right?
Yep, aidsbenefit.org, and then click on events.
There you go. Sarah Gluckstern, thanks for being here with me.
Thanks, Colin.
Yeah. Sarah Gluckstern, a lovely and amazing local talent here, and we have all sorts of local things, including Telluride TV, which is a public access channel that depends on public support. We want to give a shout out to a few of our most generous supporters, the towns of Mountain Village, Case, and the Telluride Ski and Golf Company. Now let's head over. Becca and Ryan have a new segment of Fuel Up for us. Take it away.